School enrollments for the 2023 academic year are in full swing, with 600,000 online applications processed, says the Gauteng Department of Education. Well, spokesperson Steve Mabona joins me now. Steve, good evening to you and welcome. It seems like the glitches of the past, or some of the headaches of the past around online registrations, have been smoothed out.
No, we need to outgrow the glitches. We don't experience those anymore. The only thing that we experience is challenges. This year we were delayed by probably 10 minutes after we experienced the challenge with the Google Maps, because we actually we agreed with them that will be taking probably 6,000 in terms of people that will be searching in the system. And once they realized that we've surpassed that number, they kicked us out of the system. We renegotiated and they gave us more space. We said they must give us 20,000. And moving forward, we've been smooth sailing now. As you see, over 600,000 applications that are successfully processed in the system. So we can safely say that we've improved so much in the system.
All right, so you've managed to improve on the tech side. You know that the enduring headache is going to be with regard to parents and the actual placement of their children in school. One of the things you can't get around is the complaints, some of the complaints that parents have of not having their child placed in a school that's in close proximity with their home. Maybe just share with us again the process of that criteria, the process of allocation.
The more you are closer to a school, that's when you're going to be prioritized. You know, when we place, we take the home address within the feeder zone, and the second one will be then a sibling. If there's a sibling at that school, or a previous school will also be considered, because you'll find that some of the children are in the primary school in town or in a suburb, but they stay in the township. So using a previous school, we will see that this child is here, probably is doing English and Afrikaans. So you can't take that child in the township. So we will also prioritize. Then the third one is the work address. Those are closer to work. We'll consider those, and they will move to within 30-kilometer radius, and then we move to beyond.
So what you're saying is, you know, the system in this sort of triple-phased approach does seek to give parents and learners the best opportunity, both in terms of their preference and the geographical location. But we have heard, obviously, in certain cases where it hasn't been, it's not a perfect system. What happens then, Steve, for parents whose children might be placed in a school where they have to learn a different language, or which ends up being further than the 30 kilometers? What recourse do they have?
No, it's a perfect system. Indeed, it's a perfect system. The only challenge is capacity. So we can't mix the two. To a certain extent, that if we give an alternative school, we'll be knowing that a school will be accommodative. We have made some adjustments to a certain extent that schools in the townships, you will be in a position now to choose the languages that you do, because you find that in the township there's 4 other languages that are done, only to find that a school can probably provide only 2 or even 3. So you will be in a position to know when you apply, because we will improve the system to say, give a parent an option to choose on those languages. So we'll be in a position to place. We're not going to place in a school where the language is not offered. And what we did, the schools that are probably full in terms of the number of applications that are received, we're not going to take that one out of the system, because last year we took those schools out of the system, and parents were saying, no, give us an opportunity. We'll still want to apply. Probably we might be lucky and get that school. So the issue here is capacity. A school that would have had 300 spaces, you have 1,500 applications. Surely 1,000 parents will be saying, no, the system is not perfect.
So but what happens in terms of recourse? I mean, should they feel they have a legitimate grievance, or they want to get a different answer, where can they go?
During the placement period, we will give them an opportunity to appeal. If you're not happy, you will appeal, and you know that your process will then be well taken care of in the department up until it reaches the MEC, because he's the arbiter. You will then respond on whether the school that they gave you, we could probably give you a better option, or from what you have, or we can give you the school that you've applied to, depending on what reasons will be. I mean, a parent with a sibling, if in a school, if there's a space and parent was not given that opportunity, can change that decision.
Right.
A parent that a child was not considered in terms of a previous school, we can still change that decision and say, no, you can't take this child back probably in a township where there's no school probably that will be doing English and Afrikaans.
Steve, is there a way so I mean, the one issue is stock availability of schools. You know, schools have a limited number, we've got a finite number of schools, so that's the one challenge you face. So I want to, you know, just get a sense from you of just, you know, how burdened or up to the challenge these placements are going to be, given the, you know, the limited number of schools. But the second issue is the quality of those schools. You know, we hear over and over and over again in terms of the audits of the quality of schools, the viability of the infrastructure, that not all of them are the standard that they need to be at. Are you rating these schools?
Look, as parents, we need to play a significant role in making sure that we improve our schools. If we say
as parents,
the quality, yes, as parents, remember the SGB, they govern the school.
Yeah,
so
but that's
the
secondary,
SGB
right? The primary is government, right? The secondary is the partnership role that communities and parents play in the upkeep of the school,
no,
and in the looking after of the school. But the delivery of that school is up to government.
Yes, but I'm saying parents need to work very closely with the SGB. Remember, the SGB is a parent component. They represent parents. So if they play a significant role in making sure that school changes, the quality that they're talking about is they influence the process and make sure that teachers teach, they monitor and make sure that teachers are teaching, and they support in terms of governance. They support the school at its entirety. Where we're supposed to be paying school fees, let's make sure that we pay school fees as parents, and make sure that the quality improves, because all these teachers are trained, you know, in the same institution. So we can't say teachers, when they are at a certain school, they are not teaching. Meanwhile, when they're in the other schools,
well, the environment plays a role. I mean, if you're in a functional school without a pit latrine, that does have a roof, that does have good desks, you feel motivated to do a good job. When you're working in a place with dilapidated infrastructure and children who struggle to learn in that environment, it does affect the performance of the teacher.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we have budget that we allocate to all schools. Even if you pay school fees, there's a certain extent that we support the schools. So if you work with us and make sure that the infrastructure is improved, I mean, there are schools that windows are broken. We give schools money to make sure that they fix windows. Well, you then find parents that will come and they want to march at a school and say a school must be banned, or they are influential to a certain extent that a school is banned, is touched. They say they are putting pressure on the department, yeah, which it's a drawback really when we're going to look at that.
Let's go back to the system then, and the final word on when it closes for parents who didn't, who haven't applied yet. There's still time.
Parents have 13 days to apply, because we are closing on the 19th of August. And
they shouldn't leave it to the 19th of August.
No, they shouldn't. But parents, some they will do that. But it shut it down on the 19th. So those that have not uploaded documents, we really want to appeal to them. Upload documents, or submit them or deliver them at the school that you would have applied to.
Steve Mabona, thank you for coming in, and thank you for sharing the latest and updates on the online application process. Almost 600,000 admissions already processed on the system. Just a few days left before that system closes. We'll be back with the headlines.